Hook. What if I told you that by 2026, the software you use every day might not have been written by a single human developer? Not one line. Governments, banks, hospitals, and tech giants are quietly placing a $7 trillion bet on something called AI agents. And the people who understand what's happening right now will be the ones who come out ahead. The ones who don't? They might not recognize the industry on the other side of it. Context. Here's why this moment is different from every other "AI is going to change everything" headline you've seen before. We are not talking about a smarter autocomplete. We are not talking about a chatbot that answers your customer service questions. What's emerging right now in 2025 is a fundamentally new category of software. Systems that can think, plan, and execute complex tasks on their own, with almost no human hand-holding. The investment numbers are staggering, the use cases are already live, and the ripple effects are heading straight for one of the largest industries on the planet, software development itself. If you want to stay ahead of what's coming in AI and tech, make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to be covering every major shift as it happens. Section. What exactly are AI agents, and why are they different? Most people have heard of ChatGPT. You type something in, it types something back. That's a conversation. That's reactive. An AI agent is something else entirely. Think of it this way. Imagine you hired an incredibly smart assistant and gave them a goal, not a task, a goal. You say, "I need a fully functional e-commerce website launched by Friday." A regular AI tool would help you write some code when you asked it to. An AI agent would break that goal into 100 smaller steps. Figure out which tools it needs, write the code, test it, find the bugs, fix the bugs, deploy the site, and then report back to you when it's done. You barely touched it. That's what agentic AI means. These systems can use tools, browse the internet, write and execute code, send emails, interact with APIs, and loop back on their own mistakes, all autonomously. They don't just respond to prompts, they pursue objectives. And this is not theoretical anymore. In 2025, we are already seeing autonomous AI agents being deployed by companies like Salesforce, Microsoft, and dozens of startups. Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff famously said, "Agents are the third wave of the AI revolution." Microsoft has built agents directly into its entire software ecosystem. OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google are all racing to build the most capable agentic systems on the planet. The foundation has been laid. Now the construction is starting. And the building they're constructing is going to replace a lot of what exists today. Section. The $7 trillion number. Where it actually comes from. $7 trillion is a number so large it barely feels real. So let's ground it in something concrete. The global software industry, every app, every platform, every enterprise system, every piece of code running in the background of modern life, is worth roughly $700 billion per year today. Some projections put the total addressable market, including services, consulting, and infrastructure, closer to $2 to $3 trillion annually. Now layer on this, McKinsey, Goldman Sachs, and several major research firms have estimated that AI automation could generate or redirect anywhere from $4 trillion to $7 trillion in economic value per year over the next decade. A massive chunk of that value sits squarely in software development, IT services, and knowledge work. Here is what that actually means in plain language. Right now, a mid-sized company might spend $2 million per year on a software development team. In 2 to 3 years, AI agents could potentially do a significant portion of that work. Not all of it, not immediately, but enough to completely restructure how companies spend that budget. And the investment community already sees it. AI investment trends show that venture capital and big tech spending on agentic AI infrastructure surged past $100 billion in 2024 alone. Microsoft put $13 billion into OpenAI. Amazon dropped $4 billion into Anthropic. Google has its own massive internal bets running in parallel. These are not speculative moonshots. These are calculated, strategic plays by the most sophisticated capital allocators on the planet. When people with that much money agree on a direction, the direction tends to become real, fast. Action. How software development itself gets rewritten. This is where it gets personal, especially if you work in tech or you're thinking about entering the field. The software industry disruption that AI agents are triggering isn't just about replacing code writing. It's about collapsing the entire life cycle of how software gets built. Let's walk through what that looks like. Today, building a new software feature is a long chain. A product manager writes a specification, a designer mocks it up. An engineer interprets the design, writes the code, hands it to QA, who finds the bugs, sends it back, and eventually, weeks or months later, it ships. Every handoff is a delay. Every delay costs money. AI agents compress that chain dramatically. In the emerging model, a product manager describes what they want in natural language. An agent reads that description, generates the code, writes its own tests, runs them, fixes what fails, and flags the result for human review. What took 6 weeks now takes 6 hours. That's not an exaggeration. Early enterprise teams using agentic coding tools are already reporting 10 to 20 times productivity gains on specific tasks. Companies like Cognition, the maker of an AI agent called Devon, made headlines by demonstrating a system that could take on real software engineering tasks from start to finish. GitHub Copilot, which started as a code suggestion tool, is rapidly evolving toward full autonomous agents that manage entire workflows. But here's the nuance most people miss. This doesn't necessarily mean every software engineer loses their job tomorrow. What it means is that the role transforms. The engineer who used to spend 70% of their time writing boilerplate code now spends that time making high-level decisions, reviewing agent outputs, and catching the things agents still get wrong. One engineer with agents might do the work of 10. That has enormous implications, but it's a different story than pure elimination. Section: What this means for you and what comes next. So where does this leave us? Who wins, who loses, and what should you actually be doing with this information? Let's start with who wins. Businesses that adopt agentic AI early will have a structural cost and speed advantage over competitors who don't. That gap will compound. The companies building the agent infrastructure, the picks and shovels of this revolution, are already generating enormous returns. And individuals who learn to work with agents, direct them effectively, and understand their limitations will be dramatically more valuable than those who ignore them. Now, the harder truth. The software industry future belongs to fewer people doing more with AI, not more people doing less without it. Outsourcing firms that compete purely on labor cost are facing an existential threat. Junior roles that once served as entry points into the industry are going to get squeezed as agents absorb the most routine tasks.